Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Capturing the Games, the Game Within the Game podcast, featuring me, your host, Desmond Jones, and my still newly fresh co-host. His name is Jawan Stewart. Jawan, man, how's it going, man?
Good, bro. You know how it is, man. You know how it
Yeah.
is.
Appreciate you for being part of Capturing the Game, man. So it's our second episode together. So it's gonna be pretty good, man. Pretty fun and everything.
Most definitely.
Yeah. But before we even continue on, I want to make sure to remind the audience that Capturing the Game, let people know that Capturing the Game is sponsored by Capture Sports Agency, where our CEO and founder is Chantel Smith-Jones. So now that we got the introductions and stuff out the way, let's go ahead and talk about this guest that we have on today. So she is Forbes. She is under Forbes 30. She is the founder of HighlightHER, and she's a part of Bleacher Report. Her name is Arielle Chambers. Arielle, how are you doing today?
What's up? Hi, everyone out there. Yep, it's Ari right now in the flesh.
All right, thank you for hopping on this podcast, which with everything that's been going on today with the first day back in the W, coming back.
Chad, that's how you know I love y'all. What a day.
Right. But can you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so again, my name is Ari. Born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina. I always love to start out there, even though that's like, y'all don't need my whole extended bio, but moved to New York about a decade ago and was a professional cheerleader, realized that my friends in the WNBA didn't have coverage, so decided to do it on my own. And through that, Bleacher Report actually found me and tasked me, which is a willful task, to start their women's platform. And I named it HighlightHER, and the rest is history from there. And I also am a talent at Turner Sports. And so I have a weekly WNBA show on NBA TV and called WNBA Weekly. And we feature what's so special to me about that is we feature the sleeper players. So like the players you shouldn't sleep on. And it just gives an extra shine to the players who get overlooked often. So that's been my whole brand, shining light on women's sports, which are often overlooked, particularly the WNBA and a league of 80% Black women. And just shining a light on people who wouldn't normally get the coverage. But I'm glad that now we're on a trend upward, creating a space for women to be talked about in the sports and culture realm.
Most definitely. So with that, when you say, do you think, especially with the new uptrend, like you said, do women's sports, do you think get a bad rep because it's women's sports versus the men's sports and all, the pay gap and all that other stuff? Do you, do you see that margin getting better as time progresses?
I think women's sports historically haven't had a rep because nobody's really talked about them. Now we're getting to a place where you can have discussion, whether that be controversial discussion and people just realizing that, a player max in the league is about $222,000. So it's like versus, the NBA salary, but anyway, different business model, whatever. But I think the whole core is sports in general have been rooted in misogyny and not in creating room for women to excel. And despite their excellent records, despite the level of athleticism within the game, despite all their success, we see USA basketball just got their 7th gold medal in a row. They have not lost a game in so long. They've been getting gold medals since '96 and haven't lost in Olympic play. I think it was 53 games straight in Olympic play, which is crazy and should be talked about way more. But you still have those ones who are still on Twitter tweeting them like, I can beat you one-on-one. I'm like, really? They just won an Olympic gold medal? It just doesn't make sense. But that has been the trend that you've seen with everyday people trying to take on these women athletes and be like, I can do better. And it's just, honestly, it falls on deaf ears because there's no reason to frame it that way. And so if we gather around and just put our money and our time and our interest into women's sports, I think that it's going to continue to trend up to the point where it's going to become the norm. And that's what's really important behind it all. It's going to start becoming normal that women's sports are in the forefront of things.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we want. We want to see, women's sports on the front. I mean, look, we love the men's stuff, but the men's had they shine for long enough. No offense to us, but
Mhm.
you know, I mean, it's time for this. Why are they always in the
There's space
background?
for all of it. And I'm
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I'm the type that I'm never going to force women's sports, like, you better watch. No, my job is to like sprinkle my passion for women's sports around the world, and whoever it sticks with, because there are certain sports or certain leagues in general that I don't gravitate towards. And that's okay. That's okay to not like certain sports or certain leagues or certain things, but it's not okay to not give it a chance because it's women. And so my whole goal is to be like, this is the product that's there. I can showcase it with X's and O's, and I can also showcase it with personality pieces and player highlights, like highlight features. And if it sticks with you, it sticks with you and you become a fan. And then I did my job. But if it doesn't stick with you, that's fine. At least you gonna get this regularly from me though. So if you follow me, this is what it's going to be. So that's where I always come from. I come from a place where I don't try to convince people or convert people. Well, convince people to watch women's sports. I like to convert them. So there's that.
Thanks.
What type of hurdles have you had to go through in order to try to bring coverage to the W?
Just genuine interest. People a lot of times, you see bigger companies saying, oh, the money's just not there, but it's like, with risk comes reward. And so you can't say the money's not there if you have put forth no effort to cover it, to make it profitable. And so just in general, just the whole idea of bigger companies or networks or sponsors or clients buying into women's sports and making sure that, they're properly funding and giving the proper resources to be covered the way they need to be covered has been my biggest hurdle. As far as being heard myself, I've never really had a problem with being like completely audacious and completely out there and be like, y'all gonna get this mouth. So like, that's never been my issue, but my issue is getting people to actually want to invest with their dollars, invest with their time, invest with their resources into women's sports coverage.
Makes sense. Do you think, what do you think the interest doesn't like? Why do you think people aren't interested in women's basketball, for instance?
Well, before the past few years, it's been really hard to find. So
Right.
all they have is the ancient opinions of, the generation before, where, we got to realize that this is WNBA's 25th year. We're over 25. So we were born into a space where the WNBA didn't exist when we were growing up. So you would have to go overseas in order to play in that level, but they had other leagues or whatever that didn't sustain the test of time. But getting people to actually consume the product so they can actually make their own opinions of it, as opposed to listening to the outdated views of women shouldn't be doing this or women are trash at this. And so that's what I think has been holding it back, and just the availability of it, because I'm a super fan of the game too. Like as a, in media, I can still be a fan because I feel like fandom helps you be invested in the story. But in the past, it's been really, really difficult to just find a game. And I know if I'm a deep fan like this and I'm over here searching and getting frustrated, I can only imagine somebody who's like, I just want to watch basketball. So they're just going to turn on something else. Like, you know what I mean? But it's gotten better. We've had a huge increase in network games, a huge increase in network coverage, a huge increase on utilization of social media with like Facebook games and Twitter games. I love the Twitter broadcast games. They're super fun. And so just having that increased access to the game itself has really, really helped.
Yeah, that's always been one of my complaints about the leagues, that the games is hard to find. Like they don't, like, even when it's championship time, you can still barely find them on TV, which super odd, super strange,
mind-blowing.
Yeah. Right. So definitely, it's been glad to see the change, at least so far this year, and hopefully that going forward that it'll continue to grow. What has like your journey been like in this industry? So you went from a cheerleader to recognizing that there was a need to building out this platform. What has your journey been like in sports?
So my whole life I've been a cheerleader. I cheered I was an all-star cheerleader, which is a competitive cheerleader. So I didn't actually cheer for people my whole life. That it was just my cheerleading as a sport.
You was top tier.
Yeah. I was nice. And so
you see that little shuttle? She said, "I was nice." She would have looked. I was nice.
Period. Kathy Bucky raised me. Those who are from Raleigh, champion cheer jam. Okay. Anyway, but ended up taking it to the pro level. And so when I was at Madison Square Garden, what happens is if you do 7th Ave squad, you have the opportunity to do Knicks and Rangers. Rangers and Liberty. And so Liberty obviously is a New York WNBA team. And in the summertime, we cheer all the games. And I noticed I had a lot of friends in the league because, I grew up around basketball. Like I'm from North Carolina. That's all we do. We play basketball, period. So I noticed that my friends who were in the league didn't get the attention or the media coverage that was adequate. I could count on one hand how many media members were at the games. And this is at Madison Square Garden back then, the world's most famous arena. And it's the top 144 athletes in the world. Some of them are Olympians. And some of them were your favorite collegiate players. And they just didn't get coverage. So what I did, I utilized my personal relationships with them. And I would meet them at their hotel or, whatever, wherever they were. And I would record my interviews on my phone. And I realized that I had everything I needed on my phone and I can do it my way because I didn't have a network telling me how to do things. I was just putting out content. And that was before the whole social media thing really, really blew up. Like now we see it a lot with IGTV, we see it with TikTok, we see it with Reels. But I was able to get ahead on the wave of like interviews via phone and uploading it and realizing, hey, your phone it wasn't 4K at the time, but it has a quality that was good enough to record interviews, put them on Twitter. They would go viral because back then there wasn't anybody doing it in that way because you had, the people I looked up to, you had the LaChina Robinsons, you had the Rozes up there, but they were on broadcast. And so being able to utilize the social media landscape was something very different, very accessible. Again, accessibility is really, really key. It was accessible to the audience. And so they would pick up traction. And then back then I didn't have any money. And so I crowdsourced to get to all-star games. I crowdsourced to get to, tournaments. I crowdsourced to get to Final Fours and things like that. And so I had this group, this WNBA Twitter community that really, really believed in me. And so I was extra motivated from there. And then Bleacher Report found me, Doug Bernstein, with the help of Christina Tapper and Meredith McDowell, and brought me in. And the rest was history from there. So it was just basically, I don't know if y'all ever went to business school, but it's just finding, the white space and occupying it and really figuring out how you can make something better or create something from nothing. So.
Makes sense. So, let me ask. So when you say you went viral, so is that why you got the blue check on like Instagram?
No, it's funny
IG
because
and all that?
No. So the blue check, I would actually encourage people not to put too much stock in the blue checks. No, blue check, I was with BR in Turner Sports 2 years before I got a blue check. So blue check basically is saying like, hey, this is your actual account. It's not, hey, everything you say is completely correct. The blue check just ensures there are no duplicative accounts. So I got my blue check first on Instagram. Twitter's really hard. Twitter's really freaking hard. I got my blue check on Instagram first, and that was probably because it was a mixture of being Turner, BR, and Forbes. And so they approved that. But that was like my publicist, that was my PR team putting in a lot of work with it because I got denied a lot. And mind you, I literally have a weekly show on cable TV. Like, it's crazy. But dang. I got denied a lot, but I think the Forbes really, really set it off. And then Twitter, I have this hashtag, the WNBA is so important. And so just not paying mind or putting too much stock in to, hey, am I verified or not, but just continuing doing the great work. That's what's important. If you continue to do work and you continue to make a name for yourself and you continue to work off, like be motivated off of things that aren't like that. Like I I'm never going to be motivated off of a gifting. I'm never going to be motivated off of, will I get a blue check? I'm never going to be motivated off of like, how can I benefit individually from this? My motivation comes from, hey, I want to pay it to the game. And so that's where I've always moved from. For Twitter, again, I have an amazing team at BR and Turner that really like vouched and pushed and really pushed and got my name in front of the right people. I'm sure I literally don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think it has something to do with the consistency that I had on Twitter. The WNBA is so important. Is a genuine hashtag for the WNBA Twitter community. And just making sure you're being disruptive in changing things, that's important too. But yeah, no, the check mark came like very recently. Like I want to say within the past, it was like December and January. It wasn't like years ago. So yeah. Mind you, I had like written for like everybody. By then I got Sports Illustrated. I had like all like I've been writing for the Next for years, and it just happened when they felt like it.
I was just curious because I mean I've never had the experience to talk to somebody with a blue check, so I don't know if that like I'm not saying it makes it feel different. No, I'm just saying like it's so, like ooh, blue check.
Little small history. I'm gonna deviate a little bit. The little small history of the blue check for Instagram, in particular, it's people have people who impersonate them, and so the blue check was so that people knew that this was the actual public figures account. And so that's basically what it came from. But then it's started becoming like a status thing, and I don't put much stock into that. I don't, just because I feel like if you do great work, you do great work. There are plenty of people on Twitter who I think should be verified that are still waiting on that blue check, but I will surely go to them first. Like B Terrell, he's one of my favorite Twitter follows. It's B Terrell, and I don't do as much beat reporting now, and so I go to him to see like, hey, what's going on with, these markets that I don't cover, or, there's Howard Megdal. He's the one who brought me into the space, and he's not verified, I don't believe. And I look to him for everything, like all the guidance in the world. So there are so many people that could very well, Erica Ayala, she helped me along the way too. Like there's so many people that should be verified, but for some reason aren't, but they're still credible. So don't take the blue check as something that's like a credibility factor. It's not an indicator of how credible you are.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because we was going back and forth. We was like, yo, she got a blue check mark.
I was sitting there, I was like, hey, she famous. She got a blue check. She on another whole other level of it.
I'm like, she got more. She got
followers. Then I'll be famous. But right now, no, I'm just trying to help my community grow. That's all.
I'm like, she got more posts than I got. I got followers.
Stop it. Stop. I do tweet all the time. And I do post on Instagram. I've had Instagram since like 2012. To be fair, I studied new communication media in college.
So I mean, okay, help me understand when it comes to like we're gonna diverge. This is Tad here. We're gonna take a slight detour. But so like when you say that, like what does that mean for like marketing and stuff of that nature, like when you're doing social media posts and all that, like how do you get yourself to that level, I guess, on a consistent basis?
How do I get to what level are you specifically asking? I want to be clear. I want to like everything is words are intentional. Like what are you asking?
Right. You're right.
I'll say take us through the tiers.
Tiers. There you go. I like that. Tiers.
So what tier? I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to do my journalist thing on y'all. But what tier are y'all presumably saying I'm at right now?
I mean, I'm not saying you. I mean, to me, like the top of the ecosphere is like the blue check, because usually if you have a blue check, but the blue check, I know what she said, but I'm saying when I see a blue check, like, hey, they famous, like they big time. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah. So anybody who wants to be taken seriously or credible in this space, I would say be consistent. Know exactly what you're trying to communicate with people, and just make sure you move off the right strengths. So the reason why I started this is because I love the game, and I was blessed enough to witness women being so strong in the basketball space growing up. I'm from Raleigh, so Coach K Yao, and then you go down the street and there's Sylvia Hatchell, and then we had NC State women's basketball, Duke, UNC, Wake Forest. Like, I'm an ACC baby. Like, my dad went to Duke, I went to State. So just being able to see, the Lindsey Hardings and Ivory Lattas of the world, just to be able to see, like, go up the street with like Chrissy Tolliver and Marissa Coleman. Back then, Maryland was in the ACC, but like just being able to see all that when I was in high school, or like even going before that, Trice in NC State. It's like there are so many people that I'm like, dang, if we would have had the coverage now that during their time, I wonder how much better off they would be. Or like just, seeing the legacy of the Houston Comets kind of disappear, and thank God it's coming back and people are starting to acknowledge it again, but just like knowing that there was a time where people forgot. So I moved from the place of, hey, I want this game to get the love that I feel from it. I want everybody to understand that the basketball space, or women in sport in general, are a direct indicator of like that we have limitless potential as women in spaces that we want to occupy. And that's where it started, and that's what keeps me going. Ain't no gift box, ain't no influencer check, ain't no whoever at me keeps me going. No, absolutely not. It's the fact that the game isn't where it's supposed to be because people are still making excuses why not to cover it. So that's the first one. Like, know why you moving and the way you moving. And then be consistent. If people keep going to your page to look for news, if they keep going to your page to look for whatever you're trying to communicate, then that's a good indicator that you're legit, right? So like if you're watching game innocently and people are like, Ari, what's going on? Or, what's going on? That's a good indicator that like you're well on your way.
Right.
And then you need to occupy their timeline. Just be on the forefront, be present, be at these events, be at these games, be about your business. And then let everything fall into play. Like I'm from the South, so I'm like, God's plan is for me. I'm like one of those. I'm like, God's plan is for me. And so he put me in these positions to deliver the message that I want to deliver. And it just so happened that I've been almost a decade in this. And so now the symbolic credibility is showing up. So now that blue check is showing up. Now those bylines are happening, even though the bylines have been happening, but now the more arguably prestigious bylines are happening. Now the company's like, oh, here's some extra change because we understand what you're doing. But that didn't come from just waking up overnight doing it. That came from years and years of grinding it out, popping up at events, faking it like I make it, and really walking up to people and be like, hey, I just want to shadow you, or I just want to learn from you. And here's what I can do for you too. Like, that's another important thing for young people out there. Like, if you walk up to somebody you look up to, be in the position to offer them something too. Don't just take. And so it was years of that building up, and then staying true to exactly what I wanted to do. And yeah, we came out with if you're a steamed blue check, boo. So that happened.
I got you. That makes sense. That's
You all want a blue check? Somebody give this man a blue check, please.
No, I don't want a blue check. I'm good. I was just saying I just haven't talked to anybody with a blue check. That's all. I know it don't really mean much.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Blue Check Ari. Hey.
Blue check Ari.
Ridiculous. Anyway, imagine.
Oh God. Oh man.
Sorry, we had to go off topic for that one very quick. But what made you fall in love with the W? I know you kind of talked partially about it, but I want to get back to that, like that first moment where you watching, you like, yo, this is fire.
Was it a player, or was it like moment?
It was Lisa Leslie, because she wore a ribbon in her hair, and I was a cheerleader. I never played, so like I saw myself in her. Like, she was really tall. I'm really super tall. And she was very much like, I'm a fierce competitor on the court, but then I can be myself off the court. Yeah. And like there's a player like that for everybody. I feel like right. You have Lisa Leslie's, but you also have, like, fast forward in the generation, you have the Brittany Griners, you have the Cappy Pondexters, You have the Swing Cashes, you have the Teaspoon, you have the Kim Hamptons, you have, Cheryl, who like is super dominant. And then like you have the role players that really, really play their part too. And then everybody has somebody to relate to. And I think that's really cool. So when I saw Lisa Leslie with her ribbon, but then she's the first player in the WNBA to dunk, I'm like, oh, she's tight. Like, that's cool. And some reason I always love the Sparks. I always love the Sparks. And like, it's no secret that I'm super close with Candace. And so like, I'm like conflicted because, she's in Chicago. But for, her 13 seasons there and Lisa's before that from its inception, I have always had my loyalty to that. And then I started working with the Liberty. And so I started loving Liberty and just being able to be in Swing Cashes last year and being able to be her cheerleader and witnessing her retirement and seeing the impact she's had on the game. And then, Teaspoon was still working with the team at that time. So just to have somebody from, its inception, that was cool. And then, Katie Smith was on staff then. So having that Detroit Shock situation, like there was just so many elements to it that I just thought was really, really cool. And and then Bill Lambier took over and then he left and then Katie took over and then now it's Walt. And just being able to be a part of a program was really, really dope too.
It's always cool to hear about how people, fall in love.
Yeah, Lisa and her ribbon. It won't be none but that ribbon.
What's something important about the W in women's sports that people don't really know anything about or don't know?
I think this is the fact that the dominance of USA basketball. It's not necessarily a WNBA fact, but USA basketball is a direct reflection of it. But I would say the same script that everybody else says. WNBA is the top 144 athletes in the world, and you can see it in one league. Like this is literally like such a competitive game, and that's what's really, really, really dope about it. I would also say, this is kind of like not answering your question, but I would also say like they have nothing to prove to y'all. So like that's one thing that people should know. They have nothing to prove. They literally, especially like they have nothing to prove. They have literally made a roster spot, and that is what it is. So that's what I want people to know.
She put a stamp on it. They ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. Period.
Big her. Nothing.
Damn. Yeah.
That's something that nobody knows. They ain't got to argue with you.
Desmond, you can't argue. Don't say nothing. Just let it be. You gotta let that one be. That one has to ride. You gotta ride.
Hey, I'm just here to show up and support, man.
That's a Yo.
That's all I'm trying to do.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So okay. Explain your experience with like Bleacher, Forbes, like how did that shape your career? How did that make you feel when all that was going on?
How did it shape it? It kind of made it. When you're independent, especially doing something innovative, I was in those locker rooms with a cell phone. That's what I mean. This was back before social was big. So I remember Grady Diaz whenever I went to DC, or Robin Brown when I went to Connecticut, or Erica Ayala when I went to New York games, or Eli when I went to LA. I would be with my phone, and I'd be lucky if one of them were there to help me hold it, or available to help me hold it. And so I was having to do this all by myself, proving why I should be in that locker room in the first place. Obviously, PR wasn't going to deny me because there weren't that many people in there. Now they have the luxury to deny people, but I think that's awful. But anyways, whatever. So I digress. But when I got with Bleacher Report, people just took me more seriously. And that's just is what it is. When you have a big name like that behind you, people just take you seriously. And then when, the Turner situation, because Turner Sports is, we're all one. When I started doing more with linear, which is TV, that's even better. So you don't just have to, constantly try to prove yourself. You can be like, no, this is my product, and show them an episode that aired on either TNT or NBA TV. And that's really, really cool. And it's just a name thing. Again, like the blue check thing. It's just something that gives you extra credibility when you walk somewhere. which is kind of sad because I know so many independent platforms that do such great work, such important work to the league. But that's how Bleacher has changed me. It's been giving me the opportunity to be taken more seriously in these spaces. And Forbes came out of nowhere. Like, never thought I'd be on the Forbes 30 under 30. It was my last year of eligibility because I am 30. But getting Forbes, it's not just a name thing, it's a network of people that like literally are legit. Like, we have a venture capitalist list, and these people have money. Like, astounding levels of money. It's just wealth. And so just learning from them how they acquired it, if it wasn't inherited, or like, you know, you have other people in the sports category, or you have the music category, like Sweetie's on our list, you know, this year. You have like arts and entertainment, you have culinary. And so like, we're able to work together as one. You have finance. And so I'm like, you know, I'm a girl who's on the finance list. I'm like, yo, like, newly came up on some money. How should I spend it? You know, and it's just like, it's like helpful to have people from such different backgrounds blend together, because we're all one family at the end of the day. And it's really dope. It's honestly a bare minimum. It's something to tell your mother so she understands what you've been doing in New York for the past decade. So there's that.
That's cool.
Guys, I promise they smirked on this. Y'all can't see them if you're not watching the video, but gosh, that was a joke. I guess I'm not funny. That's fine too. Anyway.
Wow.
Crazy. I'm talking to myself here. That's crazy.
Nah.
We here with you. What you mean?
Maybe the audio cut. It must have cut out or something.
Oh, okay. You know we have video proof. We got receipts. Anyway, keep going.
Look, I was smiling. I might have been muted, but I was smiling.
Oh my goodness. She cutthroat. She cutting us, man.
No, I love it though. What's some of the advice that you have for women that's trying to make it in the sports industry right now?
Know that you've already made it by trying to enter. And so nobody can tell you no if you do things your way. You're not called to these positions just to be quiet. And so if anybody ever silences you, don't be. Keep speaking up, even if that's talking over, you know, like obviously be an active listener when you're entering spaces, but like also make sure your presence is known. Don't just take the back seat because like historically we've had to. We're not in a place where we have to take back seats anymore. We're occupying the space. We're really good at it. Also be equipped, like just know what you're talking about. And that's not just women, that's anybody. When you're in any space, know what you're about. Like, don't ever let nobody check you on your own thing, if that makes sense. Like, nobody can arguably nobody can outsmart me on WNBA things. If you grill it out, I'm gonna be able to tell you about this stuff. Even though my whole brand is the player feel good stories. Don't get it twisted. I can give you an in-game analysis too. So just know different layers of the game. Know different X's and O's, so you can be like very well rounded and equipped to cover what you need to cover. And don't wait for your yes, because you have everything you need, especially in sports media, to do it on your own. And do it on your own. That way, when you do get the support from somebody else or the external support, it's just additive. You've been doing it already. You know what you're doing, and if somebody tries to change you, you'd be like, nope, this is effective, this works because I can show you these numbers here. And so it's just a matter of that.
Do you think like women in sports media get a bad rap? Because some people, like, I don't know, I feel as though they may not be willing to approach females to uncover their story or talk about their story. But I mean, do you feel as though that women in sports media get a bad rap?
I've never cared about people's perception of me in that way. If you don't want to consume my content, don't. But as far as players not wanting to tell me a story because I'm a woman, that's almost completely opposite. Because I'm a Black woman, I'm able to make people feel more warm. It's relatable, especially in a league with 80% Black women. And then I'm able, like, I don't know if it's the woman in me or if it's what, just like, I'm just like your homegirl. So like, I've had opportunities for, you know, telling player stories where they just really open up, because I listen to them. It's just that is what it is, but I haven't had it harder with player relationships. If anything, it's helpful. Like, yeah, me being a woman, me being a Black woman, being a young Black woman, it's helpful in general. But as far as like the public saying I shouldn't be in this space, like, how are you gonna tell me that? Like, off what basis? Like, I know the game, I know the players of the game, I know how to tell stories, and I'm really freaking smart. Like, I can carry myself. Like, I can carry my career. So I'm not in this space as a coincidence. It just is what it is. But however people perceive, if I'm not your cup of tea, I'm probably not a lot of people's cup of tea, because I push the boundaries of conventional journalism, and I'm okay with that. Like, I do believe that fandom should exist in journalism, period. And I do believe you should love what you do, and that should be reflected in your work. But if that's not your cup of tea, then it ain't your cup of tea. Like I said when we started, my job is to sprinkle my little passion on everybody and hope it's it.
You got the look. Yeah, I'm gonna say it is right there. Yeah,
you already know what it is. I'm South Baying them. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So let me ask you this: when it comes to like women personalities, so like the Jamel Hills, the Carrie Champions of the world, like, have you ever met them? Have you been in contact? Like, how do y'all, I guess, because to me that's like a dream team of great journalism all in one swoop. Like, I mean, what does those encounters look like? Like,
I love them. I love all my sisters in sports media. I love Jamel. I think that she's so outspoken in everything. She will just speak her piece, and she said, "I said what I said," and she backs away. I love Carrie. My good sis be rocking that silver hair, and I'd be like, "Yes, and go off." Like, you know what I mean? And Carrie has started her Brown Girl's Dream, which she pays it forward. She gives back. You know, LaChina's my big sis. Like, Roz, my big sis. LaChina has her Rising Media Stars. It's all about paying it forward. When I walked up to Jamel for the first time, she was so warm and welcoming, and we kikied, and it was great. Like, when I last saw Carrie at a NBWA event, shout out to Mia Wright, and we had a great time. LaChina, I talk to her often. That's literally my sister. Monica McNutt and Angel Gray, my peers, and Megan McPeak, my peers in broadcast. Like, those are my girls. Like, we be like going on road trips and stuff. Like, those are my girls. Period. And so it all looks like a sisterhood, and that's what it always will be. We all bring something very different. I love the way Monica is on camera. I think Monica is such a gift to the game. But then I also love when Megan McPeak breaks history with the all-female broadcast in Canada. I love when Angel Gray holds it down the sideline. Zora Stevenson holds it down the sideline for NBA games. Like, that's their beat. I'm not particularly fond of like NBA. Like, that's not my beat. But I love what they do in it, and I think that it's so dope watching them do it. Andrea Carter, she's great at what she does too, and that's my sis too. Like, literally everybody, we're all tight. Like, the sports media world, the sports broadcast world is really super small, and it's great. And then you see players like Candace Parker turn into an analyst, and she's with Turner family. Shout out Turner. But like, she's with the Turner family, and we're able to like see her grow as an analyst, and I think that's so dope. So whenever we linked up, it's a movie, and I love all of them, and all the ones that I didn't list that work in social, and I think they're really great too.
Yeah, because Monica was doing the Olympics coverage, and she was killing that, and I was like, man, she's
so good. She's so good, because what she does, she knows how to not lose herself in a space where she easily could. And so she brings what we've been missing in sports broadcast. And I love that about her. She's so full of flavor. And I can say that because, Black woman here, but she's so full of flavor, and I love it. And I hope that it really is a clear indicator that we can be ourselves. We can be women of color in sports and still be ourselves and still deliver a message that's quote unquote digestible for the general public, because nobody's going to say Monica doesn't know what she's talking about. She absolutely does. But she can also give you a little like, girl, what was said with it too. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
So when the Maria Taylor thing happened, like did y'all reach out to her with that situation with ESPN? Like when like how did that work out? Like if you talked to her or not?
Yeah, so I am not on a phone like texting basis with Maria, but I definitely reached out to her and through social and showed support. And I think that it's dope how we all came together and uplifted that queen. And you see where she ended up NBC for the Olympics, and it's just, you know, she's gonna be just fine, and we all knew she's gonna be just fine because she's a warrior, and you know, like whenever bad or like unfortunate circumstances happen to Black women, we have a certain way we rise above it. And Maria, I'm so glad, you know, she was lifted in that moment and shown so much love. And that's something that's very dope about, you know, women in sports in general. We're never hesitant to really lift up and show love when needed, or even when not needed. Sometimes they'll just text me like, sis, I was thinking about you. You good? You drowning? You fine? And so I'm like, yeah, girl, thank you, kind of thing. And yeah.
That's dope. That's really dope.
That is dope. It's one big old sisterhood, you know.
It is.
Like I can imagine if y'all got group chats going, it's probably crazy.
Probably roasting people all the time. You know they be roasting. You know they be roasting people.
It's fine. That's our business, though. You in my business. You in my business.
I'm just saying, like, you know.
I mean, look, I'm trying to be in your business. No, I'm just
my business.
I'm just saying, like that's probably super fun. Like I know for me, when you know, when I got classmates or just some of the group chats that I have from, you know, National Society of Black Engineers, it's always fun just to, you know, get around and hang around with people just to chop it up and laugh about stuff that's going on and stuff that's going. So it's always good to know that there's that type of setup created in all the different spaces that's out there, whether it's in journalism, whether it's in sports, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in computer, whether it's, you know, TV show, whatever the case may be, whatever the medium may be, the fact that you have different, you know, brothers,
camaraderie.
The camaraderie that you can have. So, you know, it's all about family when it's all said and done. But that concludes the first part of our interview portion. So now we're going to go ahead and go into our rapid fire, what we call our game within the game. So our question is for you.
I'm a very decisive person, so let's get it popping.
Okay. She already ready to play.
We gonna see.
I sat up straight for this.
Look, we gonna see.
All right. So here we go. Chocolate chip cookies or oatmeal raisin?
Chocolate chip, hands down. And if we're feeling feisty, double chocolate chip.
I like her. Oh yeah. What about the triple? What about the triple?
You doing too much at this point. That's a lot. That's a lot of chocolate. But you know, double chocolate. We gonna stick.
You say you're doing too much. Stick to the double.
Stick to the double. Come on, triple. You really need that? I'm just kidding. Yeah, double chocolate chip.
Yeah, you know, triple. Add that little extra boom in there, the little boom flavor.
You have fun with the boom.
The boom flavor.
That boom flavor, yeah. Yo, the next question: TV shows or movies?
Sports.
Ooh.
I will literally just put her on sports. But lately I've been watching, you know, trash TV. So I love that for me.
Okay. What type of trash TV?
BET's The Encore has been my thing. I love, like, I'm still stuck in the 90s, 2000s music thing. So like having like Escape and 702 and Black and Keely and Aubrey and Nivea in the house has been just my heart. But yeah, like, and then I like Love Island like everybody else. And then my childhood friend Matt James was The Bachelor, so I watched my first season of The Bachelor ever last season. He's from Raleigh. He went to elementary and middle school with me, so I decided to show him, you know, some love and watch The Bachelor. Not my cup of tea like that, but yeah, sports.
Talk about some. All right.
Hey, it'd be like that though. You know how many times that we've had people on a podcast that we like, nah, fam, I don't even own TV. It's the
sports.
This is
I think stays on all the Turner sports things. Anyways, You'd be like,
oh yeah, she over here plugging. She over here plugging TNT.
All
Oh
TNT
my gosh.
and
Mm. All
All
right.
Anyway.
All right. I'm gonna try to make you think on this one. But what's your top 5 for the WNBA? You can go all time if you want to, or you can just do current players.
And this is not going to be by position, but Lisa got me into the game. Candace, I think she's a generational player, and I love her so much. Dawn Staley, like obviously,
that's a nice one. Yeah.
Cheryl Swoops, and then I'll throw in new gen. It's the toss up between Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart, but I think I'm gonna go with Asia. But I really love what Brianna is doing with the game right now. She's so dominant, and she's probably gonna go down as the greatest because of her resume alone. And she's what, 26, 27. It makes no sense. Maybe 28 by now. Who knows? They grow up so fast. But literally, 2-time champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. She's a FIBA world champion, FIBA MVP. Like. It's insane. She's insane. But my top 5 is definitely Lisa, Candace, Cheryl, Dawn, and Asia.
It's a solid top. That's a solid 5.
Yeah, and Stewie got that Maya Moore resume going right now.
You know? It's insane. But y'all heard my top 5. Sorry, my phone's vibrating. I hope I didn't catch.
So if you could take over any organization, I mean, it could be any organization. If you could run it, which one would you pick?
I'm bringing back the Charlotte Sting. Just give me a bag and I'll bring it back to Charlotte and I will be the president and GM. Actually, maybe I won't be the GM. I'll just be the president. I'll be cute. And then somebody else can handle the thing. I'll just be the president and the owner. How about that? Owner and president, and then somebody else can do the GM and coaching. I ain't gonna do it. I already told Don, I was like, hey. So I'm trying to get me a bag to bring back the Charlotte Sting. Just know I'm stealing you from South Carolina. That's fine. So I just gotta find me a GM because me just gonna be sitting on this sweet mic.
I'll be a GM. Look, I'll be a GM. I'll make my way.
Who's gonna be your first pick in the lottery?
I gotta do some research first before I do all that.
See, you're not ready for that. So when you're ready, let me know.
Oh my! You gotta research. You gotta make sure you got the right pieces, though. You know, I gotta make sure what we need first.
You gotta check to see what's available first.
Yeah, like I don't know. We just picking players, or I might make a trade for somebody.
Draft.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta do his research. You gotta see who's available. You know, you gotta see what teams make. You know who they. Say who is available. You know, figure out what time.
Make a trade. Look, I'm gonna make a trade. Stewie might be coming out to Charlotte. I'm just saying. I
would, that would be great. Or Asia, reunited with Don because Don is going to be the coach. Anyways, yeah.
See. Cool. Connections already. See, we making moves. We got 2 players right there already.
Not taking my words and spinning back out at me. Anyway, next, look, what else you got for the rapid fire?
All right. What is your favorite sports moment that you've have either seen or witnessed?
Arike Egumbawale in the Notre Dame championship game. Just to see her the dagger back to back in the same literal same location. I was like, oh, like it was like back to back. And I was like, dang, she cold. Like that's all I could tell. Like I was like, dang, she cold. But I was like right there courtside and I was like, oh, this really just happened. I remember China was right there too. And we were like, what? So that was definitely the most exciting moment in live sports for me. Like the moment that I was live for.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And we speaking of that, we didn't really get into much of the just talking about the women's college game at all. But definitely went, like me and my wife, we had a chance to go down and watch the Final Four, and it was fun to be in that environment just to see all the athletes and compete in that on that high stage and the levels going on. So we could say that for another conversation, but yeah, I definitely love that her Arike shots. That was some game life-changing moments.
Crazy. Yeah,
life-changing moments right there. So already have a feeling what you're gonna answer, but we're gonna ask anyway. But if you can go pro in any sport, what would it be?
I'm excited because you don't know. I'm excited because cheerleading is officially an Olympic sport now. And so if I could turn back the hands of time, I would go back and cheer again and rep USA. So I would love to be a USA cheerleader if I still was bendy and athletic in that way. However, these 30-year-old bones would never. But if not, if not cheerleader, I used to be elite. Now I'm not so much. But now, if like practical, if I could just go back to something, it would be volleyball. I'm nice at that too. I'm really good at volleyball.
So did you watch volleyball in the Olympics? Okay, now that was the first time the women won gold in
ever.
Yeah. That was a dope experience. Like
was, and just to see them do that. I mean, it's just you know about our beach volleyball team. Like beach volleyball, right. I feel like is more known in the US than the traditional 6-on-6. But I love indoor volleyball. I think it's so great. I had the opportunity to be in the Athletes Unlimited bubble. They had the pro volleyball in the United States for the first time in I think in a while. It might have been the first time ever, but in February I was in Dallas with them and just seeing the talent there and seeing how players like Jordan Larson went from the bubble and she was dominated that to the Olympic team, and just seeing it was just so iconic and full circle that she got the game, the gold medal winning kill to secure the medal, and that was the last point of the game, and it was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, that whole journey was crazy. I think what game that was trying. It wasn't Russia that was called.
It was Russia.
It was
you
Russia.
Were like, ooh, are y'all good? Yeah.
Y'all good?
Okay? Y'all need some rest, some milk.
Yeah,
I don't know,
right.
But no, they ended up pulling it off. So I'm glad about that.
Yeah, because that was the same game that I think Thompson got hurt in.
And I was worried because if she would have stayed out, we don't know how.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this went back. Back, that's what you do. But yeah.
Right. Now, okay, I seen on your Instagram.
What's up?
Are you a Falcons fan?
Oh no, no, don't ask me about men's sports. No, I shout out to the South and shout out to the Falcons organization for that jersey.
Okay.
Don't talk to me about men's sports now. That ain't where I'm at.
Where I'm at. It's not. I was like, maybe she's a.
No,
Falcons
you can talk
fan.
to Taylor Rooks about everything Atlanta. It will not be me.
All right, just making sure.
Now you were swiping far. Look at you doing your research. I love that. We love preparation.
Hey,
got to. If nothing else.
So if you could live anywhere out of all the places you've been, where would you be, and why?
Okay. I loved Hawaii. I think that Hawaii is perfect. I just think it's really far, but I love it there. And I can just see myself on a beach eating acai bowls my whole life. So, I mean, it's great there. And I can play a nice little beach volleyball and just be happy, But yeah, that's definitely where I would live. I would love to go back to Hawaii and just live there for a second.
So the volcanoes don't scare you? Like that's
not at all. Not at all.
See that part
but
for me,
Oahu
that's where
is where
I
I
get confused.
I went to Oahu, which is where Honolulu is, and
it's
it looks just like any other city. It's literally not like that. But if I went to Big Island or if I went to Maui, it would be different and probably more like nature, which I probably would love more. But I think that's where most of the active volcanoes are, is in the Big Island in Maui.
Okay. Yeah, because that volcano ain't new.
That's it's very
yeah.
Yeah,
that's the one thing is either volcano and it's being surrounded by water because I can't swim.
Bruh, come on, go in a pool, please learn. It's a life skill.
I'm trying.
I don't understand.
I've been trying.
Yeah. Look, I ain't saying nothing.
You ain't been trying. You naturally float. It's called buoyancy. We literally naturally float We as a people got to stop freaking out in water. We belong there. We were literally born in water.
I hear you. Fine.
We're fine.
I hear you on that. But if you understood, the way I
the boy about drowned.
Yeah. So here we go. Hear me out. I almost drowned in the water park.
Was it an extreme slide? Maybe. There we go. That was your fault. You shouldn't have gotten a slide. Anyway, that was your fault. Ain't nobody tell you to get on a slide. You wanted to do it. And you wanted to go downward knowing you couldn't swim. That's your fault. Why would you say, self, I can't swim worth anything, but I'm going to go down this water slide?
Because I thought I could at least make it back up to the top.
No, your logic was stupid. That was just wrong. No.
She just came at yourself.
I'm just confused. Hey guys, don't know how to swim. I'm gonna go into this water slide that just catapults me into the water.
Oh man.
I just thought I could make it to the top.
And you didn't. Yeah, here we are. Lifeguards. You're scarred for life.
I know. I wasn't even look. That motivated me, so I ended up taking.
That is your business. That's your business. That's your business.
God. Oh my goodness!
I ended up taking swimming lessons.
She came at him.
He offered this information. Ain't nobody asked for it. He offered this willingly. This is your information.
Oh my goodness!
I took swimming lessons afterwards.
Oh man!
It might have been like 2 years later.
But I'm not gonna say my experiences, so
we ain't gotta get into this, because I dragged you into.
I ain't saying nothing. No, wait, no, I didn't know. I don't want to be. I'm okay. I'm good. I can swim a little bit. Oh my goodness!
Look, I'm working on it. All
right, man.
It may not happen in 2021. At least in 2022, I can almost promise y'all know how to swim.
All right. That was a good one.
That was a good one. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close out on that.
Oh wait, I got one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
One more thing. No, I seen you a March birthday too. So I have to give you the shout to my March birthdays because I'm a March birthday
Period.
too. So, hey, we good out here. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
Wait, what day?
2nd.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not a Pisces.
I am a Pisces. What you mean?
March 2nd, you are. Oh yeah, you are. So you're a Pisces that can't swim?
Oof. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't. I said I swim a little bit. I swim a little bit.
Anyway, I'm a Pi Day Pisces. I have a Pi sign tatted on me and everything. So 3/14 is my birthday. And it's also Simone Biles' birthday, Steph Curry's birthday, and Albert Einstein's birthday. We're just great.
All I got is Dr. Seuss. So I mean.
And there's that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I don't know who else falls on my birthday. I'm just a turkey baby. That's all I know.
A turkey? Oh, you is. Yeah.
Yes, Thanksgiving.
Man. I forgot you a Thanksgiving birthday kid, man.
Yeah. Every couple of years, birthday falls on Thanksgiving, perfect time.
But you like the 26th?
24th.
Ah.
That's right. Jay, you all good?
Now I'm good now. I just had to give my Pisces some love, that's all I had to do,
Anyway.
I'll be right back,
Anyways. So
hair flip.
The hair flip, yeah.
My God. That's right. But yeah, before we close out, Ari, can you go ahead and tell everyone, the audience, the listeners, how they can follow you and keep up with your career?
Yeah, so I like to keep it fairly universal. Ari Ivory, ARIIVORY, on every single social network, including LinkedIn, which is kind of strange. But as far as my work, highlight her. So you'll see all the work that I do at BR with highlight her.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping on. And for all the audience and listeners out there, go ahead, continue to like us and subscribe us and follow us on Instagram. That's capturing_the_game_pod. Follow us on YouTube and subscribe at Capturing the Game Podcast. On Twitter, it's CTG_podcast. And also on Facebook, just go ahead, hit the like button, find our page at Capturing the Game. Ari, it's been it's been pleasure. It's been real.
I know.
It's been too
It's
real.
been real. It's been real.
I'm gonna go ahead and follow. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we good here.
He's doing this on this podcast, so he makes sure I follow him back. You're not slick.
No. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing.
It's the accountability here. That's crazy. Jawan Polo Man Stewart. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
I did my follow beforehand, so anyways. But yeah,
thank you. Gotta tell me where it was. I gotta find
it. See?
a thousand followers later.
I got it.
Just goes down the list forever.
I got it.
Look, scrolling. Look, thumb was just going, wasn't it?
It was. Nice, and she got the XR. She got the XL too, just going woof.
Y'all done. Goodbye.
Well, yeah, thank you, Ari, for hopping on the podcast with us.
Anytime.